Hello, friends. Your old Uncle Andy here, the UC Panda himself, coming to you on a snowy January 6th with what we hope are some winning sports plays for you. Um, we rounded out the year of 2024 pretty successfully. Um, we ended up having a profit of 149.43 units. That's pretty good. It would be hard to find another handicapper who could produce those results. And we were just two or three results away from being up 200 something units. That Ohio State game we keep harping about over Thanksgiving against Michigan, a couple of other crazy things that didn't go our way. And indeed, the Packers losing, we'll get into that in a moment. The Packers losing here on Sunday as 10-point favorites at home against a woeful Bears outfit also hurt the 2024 number. It certainly hurt the 2025 number. But yes, we finished up almost 150 units last year. That's pretty good. We are in a little bit of a hole here to start out 2025. Thanks to the Green Bay Packers. We had a lot of our teasers and juice reducer parlays tied up to them, as well as the Atlanta Falcons to a much lesser extent. Both of those lose Sunday as double-digit home favorites. So we were chalk eating weasels, and now we're just a weasel, and we're down quite a bit, but we are profitable if you roll back to January 1st of 2024. We will dig out of this hole. Had the Packers won, had the Packers alone won, would be up 13 units instead of staring at a 27 unit deficit. Same thing with the Falcons. Falcons win, we're probably up another 5, 6 units on top of that. So these things happen. We've been pretty good at avoiding stepping on the landmine, as it just so happens here 2, 3 days into the new year, we stepped on the landmine. You'd probably have to go back to that Ohio State game in late November to find the last time we went ahead and stepped on the landmine. So we'll work through it just like we always have. We're still up, though, 127 units in the past 372 days, if you want to look at it that way. But in handicapping, it's just easier to do it year by year. When you hear handicappers talk about, well, I'm 11-2 in my last 5 days that end in Y when there was an autumnal equinox, you need to start asking, why is he saying that? Why is he talking in that manner? Normal people don't talk that way. Normal people talk about what's going on this year, maybe this month, maybe this week. When you hear a handicapper throwing out these random, parsed out facts and statistics about their record, what that means is they're probably losing as a whole. I'm not going to say they're lying when they're talking about, I'm 11-2 on 5% WNBA plays in July. That's probably true. What's going on the rest of the time? So that's one thing you should probably go ahead and take note of with all these touts and cappers that are all over the internet. But keep following us over at Uncle Andy Sports on Twitter, and we will keep giving you the winners. Go ahead and stick with us. We'll get out of this 27 unit deficit, trust me. And we will start doing that and digging our way out of this hole with a Ravens and Bills money line juice reducer parlay. It's a minus 264. It is uh, got a good chance of hitting, 73% chance of hitting, so that should come through. I love the Ravens against the Steelers. The Steelers just coming in, sucking on wind into the playoffs, limping into the playoffs. I think the Ravens should roll. I'd go ahead and probably lay the points. We may lay the points before it's over. We are going to hook Ravens Bills up with Caps Sabres in the second period over. That should come through. Like the way the Caps have been playing. I do have the Caps later on in a different sort of parlay. I love Wisconsin tonight. I like Nichols. I like Southern University. This is where you clean up with college basketball, these sort of obscure games. Some of you have probably never heard of Nichols. Probably some of you have never heard of Southern, McNeese, or Northwestern State. But I do like Southern. I like McNeese and Northwestern State to go over the 125. I like Houston Christian and Stephen F. Austin to stay under the 138.5. And I also like Houston Christian plus the points. Closing line value is all been in our favor for all of these games so far, where the line has moved. We've got a point of closing line value in Southern, a point in Texas Southern, 2 points in Houston Christian. These are teasers, but the normal regular minus 110 line has moved since this morning when we made these bets, and the moves have all gone in our favor. Now, who knows? Maybe those are public moves. I don't think the public is betting Houston Christian at 1 o'clock on a Monday afternoon. I think that's sharp money that's moved the line, and the public money will come in later, probably maybe an hour before tip off. I think this is all sharp movement. The sharps, the wise guys, they agree with what we're doing, so I feel pretty good about it. All certainly the data and statistics are all in our favor. I think on that McNeese Northwestern State game, even I think the last 4 games those two have played have gone over the number. Both of them are strong over teams this year. The line, the total, I should say, was set at like 131 and a half, and it's gone up as well. So everything's going in our favor as far as the closing line value is concerned. Closing line value, by that I mean, I think you'll see that in football is a good example. Let's say the lines came out today for football, and a particular football team was getting 3.5 points. And throughout the week, by the time we got to Sunday and the game kicked off, now that underdog is only getting maybe 2 points, 2.5 points. You got on the underdog at plus 3.5 points. They were getting 3.5 points. Now, by the time 5 days later the game kicks off, they're only getting 2.5 points. They're only getting 1.5 point. So the closing lines is plus 1.5. You got them at plus 3.5. You have 2 points of closing line value. So it's always a good thing when you have closing line value. That means you made a good bet. Some people say the only good bet is a winning bet. Well, not necessarily. There are all sorts of bets that win that weren't very good bets. There are all sorts of bets that lose that were good bets. Anytime you can get closing line value and you beat the market, it's a good bet. And I think you'll see that. I got on Eagles money line early. I got on Rams money line plus 105 hosting Minnesota on Monday night. The Vikings looked like crap last night. The Rams rested most of their starters. The Vikings were trying to win that game last night against the Lions, and they looked terrible. Now, I think the Rams are better, or not as good as the Lions, of course, but I do like the Rams at home. I think the Rams are going to win that game, so I went ahead and swooped in on them at plus 105 as an underdog. And I think you'll get a good example of what I'm talking about with closing line value. By the time we get to Sunday, it wouldn't shock me if the Rams were actually favored or if it was a pick 'em. So we got a good price on that. I do have a 5 unit no sweat parlay on Ravens, Bills, and Eagles. Love the Eagles as well this weekend here during wild card round of the playoffs. And I did get an all sports MGM boost for a parlay like the Caps tonight. Love the Canucks and the Canadiens, third period over. Texas Southern, Alabama State, and of course the Ravens and Bills paying over 6-1. It is a little bit inconvenient. We're going to have to tie all this money up in some cases until Monday night to see the result of this Rams game. But one thing I did want to mention that you shouldn't be doing tonight, most of the teams that are favored in college basketball, they're laying 8, 9, 10 points. A lot of these games we've discussed, they're laying that. You really don't want those in a juice reducer parlay. Conference road favorites, that's not a way you make money in college basketball. It's very hard once these teams get into conference play to win consistently. And basketball is a funny game. There are so many of these games that take place, unlike football. Basketball, you can have an off night. Sometimes the better team doesn't always win. Football, usually the better team wins, but certainly not that case in college basketball. And so I wouldn't go laying 8, 9, 10 points like we're seeing out there with all these road favorites. So don't do that. I think that's about all for us. We hope everybody stays safe in the snow locally. If you're here, it snowed about a foot. Luckily, I paid the neighbor kid to clean most of the driveway off, so that was a smart move. That was a good investment. So we hope everybody has a good evening. We hope everybody cashes some winning bets. And if you tail us to the window, we will cash tickets together. Have a good night, everybody.